So today I'm going to be bringing you my full review of the Sharp AQUOS Crystal. Now this is a budget smartphone. For those of you who don't know what a budget smartphone is, it's a low-cost device that you can get off contract. And what we mean by low cost is it doesn't cost $700, $800, $900 off contract like some of our flagships, such as like the Note 4, the iPhone 6, the iPhone 6 Plus, the G3, the Galaxy S5. No, a budget smartphone is in its own category. The Sharp AQUOS Crystal is a budget smartphone. So how was my full experience sending text messages, receiving phone calls, using it just in general? That's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. So here's my full review of the Sharp AQUOS Crystal. Now a quick side note, I would just like you guys to know I didn't get to use this phone as long as I would have liked, so this review is going to be a bit more brief compared to our other reviews. So first let's talk about design. Now this is what made the Sharp AQUOS Crystal stand out from its competitors. The AQUOS Crystal has what's called a bezel-less design, and it looks pretty great. Now what I liked about it, of course, is that the bezel-less design made consumption of, for example, YouTube, Netflix, viewing photos, a kind of different experience from other phones because we're so used to at times having bezels along our phones, and today companies are trying to get rid of that. Sharp is kind of making a statement with the AQUOS Crystal. Now this was interesting though, being that it was a bezel-less design, they moved the front-facing camera and notification light to the bottom. But I will give them props for at least adding it on the phone and not leaving it out. Another nice thing about this design was the curve around the back, and it was also made out of plastic, but not a really cheap plastic that we can see on some budget smartphones. So props to Sharp for giving us a kind of nice premium feel to a budget smartphone. The AQUOS Crystal had 1.5 gigs of RAM and a Snapdragon 400 processor. This is pretty good for a budget smartphone. Now, I did find some issues though when multitasking. By this I mean I would download an app, open Twitter, and sometimes the phone would come to a complete stop. Now I have used other budget smartphones that have better multitasking abilities, for example like the Ascend Mate 2. So if you're a multitasking warrior such as myself looking for a budget smartphone, the Sharp AQUOS Crystal might not be for you. Battery life though on the AQUOS Crystal was pretty good. I was able to get throughout an entire day without really having to run to my charger. But if you're a heavy user, you will find yourself needing to at times carry a charger. It really depends what you're doing throughout the day. Now, this had a 720p display. Now, I've used 720p displays in other budget smartphones, some of them really bad, some of them pretty good. And this has to be one of the best 720p displays on a budget smartphone. Now remember, Sharp creates television, so they know what they're doing as it comes to displays. Colors were really good, and the viewing angles were actually pretty decent on the AQUOS Crystal. Now on the back, we have an 8 megapixel camera. It was actually a pretty good megapixel camera with good lighting conditions, that is. Outdoors, it did great. But in low light conditions, such as indoors, it would struggle at times. So if you're the type of person who finds yourself taking a lot of pictures indoors, you might want to look for a different budget smartphone. Let's talk a little bit about the software. The Sharp AQUOS Crystal is currently running Android KitKat 4.4.2. Now what makes this great is that it's a near-to-stock experience, and that being stock Android. Now I'm the type of person I don't like a lot of bloatware. I never have. And when you have a near-to-stock Android experience, that means less bloatware. The Sharp AQUOS Crystal gives you a great experience as it comes to the software department, and I stand behind that statement. The Sharp AQUOS Crystal is currently only available on Boost and Sprint for $240. Now I really wish we would have seen support for other carriers such as AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. By doing this, Sharp would have been able to reach more customers and give this phone more momentum as it comes to the budget smartphone market. Hopefully in the future we'll see more support for other carriers. But what I would like to see Sharp do in the future is turn the AQUOS Crystal into a flagship. How great would it be to have a bezel-less design with a 1080p display, 2 gigs of RAM that can really handle multitasking, and be available on more carriers. Hopefully we'll see this in the future, but at the end of the day, Sharp made this phone to make a statement that bezel-less smartphones can work. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos in the future. I'm Alex with itechtriad, and we'll see you in our next video.